Hello, everybody. I'm Juan Ibarbol, and this is 2020. Hello, everybody. This is the first video of 2020, and I want to start the year off right. In order to do that, I have an action plan. And this one is, I call it the 2020 Writing Action Plan, but it can be adapted to any creative endeavor, because I know I'm an artist, or anything in life that you want to accomplish. Essentially, we're gonna be asking a couple of questions, which will then allow us to create the action plan for our needs for 2020. So let's get right to work. So when it comes to writing, you need to know why, or to doing anything, you need to know why you're doing it. So why are you writing? In this example, I decided to write for the love of it, simply because I enjoy writing. You could also say something like, well, I want to make money, make a living off it. I want to educate people. I have a story that needs to be said, etc., etc., etc. You want to pay homage to your kids or loved one. Whatever reason that you're writing, we need to know why. You need to identify it and write it down. And don't just say, oh, just some simple reason. Try to go deep, as deep as you can, to find a good answer. But for the purpose of this example, I just went ahead and put for the love of it. What are you writing? Okay, so again, for this example, I put down science fantasy story about a do-it-yourself vampire. And so for the purpose of this example, it's like, yeah, that's the story I'm writing. That's what I want to put out there. And so you're going to start noticing a pattern here. We're going with the why, what, when, how, who. As far as where, well, wherever you are. I don't deal with where, but everything else we're going to be having an answer for. We have another what question, however, and coming up next, and that is, what are you, or what is the audience getting out of it? For the purpose of this example, I went simple entertainment, lots of laughs, because it's not that's what the story that I'm making up in this example is for. Nothing too extreme, just a simple little thing. Who is it for? So I figured, okay, well, it's for peeps of all ages. You could also have said something like, well, it's for me and for me alone. You want to narrow down to the type of people that you want to help, the type of people that would be reading this, to kind of think of your audience and identify your audience. We'll start off with setting a yearly goal. In this example, I said yearly goal, I should be able to write 3 complete drafts by the end of the year. And then, you can have more than one goal. Because it is a year long, so if you get 3 goals out of it, then great. 1 goal, perfect. But here's the thing about setting a goal. You need to make sure that they're something that are reasonable. Meaning, don't go saying, I am going to publish this book by the end of the year. Unless you have a lot of practice under your belt, that you know that you are able to write pretty much a draft every month, and you have the support systems in place to get editing done. Publishing a book by the end of the year may not be that realistic for the majority of people. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. For most people, doing that isn't realistic. And again, we're talking about different genres as well. But make sure that for what it is that you're doing, that your goals are reasonable, as applicable to you. So there's your yearly goals, and then go back to quarter one. So just for anybody that may not know what a quarter is, it's 3 months. And here, since we're starting at the beginning of the year, I went ahead and started with January, February, and March. Now you notice that I have a quarterly goal of research, synopsis, outline. So sometime within those 3 months, I have to have enough research done on, for this example, was do-it-yourself vampires. Have a synopsis or an outline done by the end of the first quarter, which I believe is fairly reasonable. I have three months to do it. And then in January, so I break that quarter down by month. So in January, I have what I call a keyframe. So I'm gonna have 3 keyframes, which is essentially a beginning, a middle, and an end. So they don't have to be too elaborate, just keyframes are just a roadmap. I can go more into depth in a different video, but I love using the concept of a keyframe, which I got from pretty much animation. They use keyframes a lot. February, I figured for this example, an outline is not out of the question with a March synopsis. And then I went ahead and filled out a goal for the second quarter, which again, I figured that at the end of that quarter, I should have a completed first draft. In April, I should probably focus on getting a character list done, making sure that I know who are my players. May, thinking might be a good idea to focus on a plot arc. What's the story about? And June, focus on character arcs. And along the way, get my first draft done. So those are 3 goals for each, or 1 goal for each month for that quarter. So, and I don't believe that those are necessarily unreasonable for my abilities. And again, you got to look at what you're able to do and where you are at the stage at the end of the quarter. So, for instance, if we're going to quarter 2, in real life, I probably would not have filled that out until I was towards the end of March. Why? Because towards the end of March, I kind of know what progress I am, what direction things are going, so I can then have a more accurate view of where the second quarter needs to go. And then fill out the third quarter as you're getting towards the end of June, so that way you kind of know what direction you can take in fourth quarter, so forth. And then at the end of the year, you assess where you are and you create your 2021 writing action plan. But yeah, this is how I set my goals that I want to accomplish and my deadlines. And if you want to roll, when are the deadlines due is at the end of, if it's a year, well, it will be the end of December. If it's a quarterly goal, it'll be at the end of that quarter. So quarter 1 will be at the end of March. If it's a monthly goal, then it'll be done at the end of that month. And then from here, you continue to break it down into weeks and days. But that comes more under time management, a little bit more specific than is the scope of here. So the purpose of this is just to essentially get yourself in a planning stage, get yourself thinking about what it is that you want to do, get it accomplished, and you have a roadmap, which you can change at any time throughout the year, and this will help you stay on task, and your odds of actually getting something done by the end of the year are that much higher. So I hope you enjoyed that, and go ahead and press the bell, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.